Can't be that long.
Oh,
No.
before you get started, Jake Randowski says hi and happy holidays.
Oh, cool. When'd you see Jake?
Talk to him.
You tell him he owes me a watch battery.
I'll bring it back.
All right, everybody ready? All right, last one of the year, guys. We will now call a common council meeting of December 15th, 2020 to order. Roll call, please.
Alderman Kirkowski.
Here.
Lurick.
Here.
Dukenyak.
Here.
Tillman.
Here.
Gale.
Here.
Guzekowski.
Everybody, please rise for the pledge. Mike, you want to start us off?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And before we do the minutes, I'm going to ask the clerk to read in the notice of video conferencing.
Finally, the City of Oak Creek is authorized to hold this public meeting remotely during the COVID-19 public health emergency. This meeting being conducted via Zoom video conference with telephone conferencing capability was duly noticed per the City of Oak Creek Municipal Code and statutory notice requirements more than 24 hours in advance of the meeting. Members of the public have been advised of the options for participation. This meeting may also be viewed at the city's YouTube page, the link for which was contained in all aforementioned notice methods. The meeting recording will also be accessible on the city's YouTube page within 48 hours. When unmuted, all participants must state their name and address for the record, then proceed with comments or questions. Questions and comments may also be entered into the Q&A function within the Zoom webinar control panel. Staff and/or the moderator will monitor this function during the meeting and provide the information requested. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine. That'll get us to approval of minutes of 12/1/2020. Everybody, please take a look. See if there's any corrections, errors, omissions, comments. Satisfied? Motion, please.
Kirkowski make a motion to approve the minutes of December 1st, 2020.
Dukenyak second.
Roll call.
Alderman Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Tillman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye. Okay. Item 4 is recognition and its appreciation to Mary E. Young, a retiring police department clerk. Catherine, if you'd please read that into record.
Finley, resolution number 12207121520, resolution of appreciation to Mary E. Young. Whereas Mary E. Young began her employment with the City of Oak Creek on May 1st, 2000 as a full-time emergency services dispatcher. And whereas Mary E. Young served the residents of Oak Creek in numerous positions throughout her tenure of over 10 years with the police department. These positions included emergency service dispatcher, full-time and part-time, and clerk matron, part-time and full-time. Whereas Mary E. Young will be retiring as a full-time clerk with the department. Whereas Mary E. Young served professionally as an employee while completing many duties on short notice and sacrificed family time due to short time frame requirements for the completion of her duties. Whereas Mary E. Young served in the capacity of a member of the awards committee and has assisted the department's career survival unit on numerous occasions where she served as an excellent team member for others on the department. Whereas Mary E. Young received the following awards and recognitions for her excellent work product in several incidents. 2 shift acknowledgements, 1 award for outstanding police administrative services, and 1 honorable service award. Whereas Mary E. Young has been a valuable employee during her years of dedicated service with the Oak Creek Police Department, always striving to enhance the quality of life for the citizens of the city. Now therefore be it resolved by the Mayor and Common Council of the City of Oak Creek, for and on behalf of the citizens of the City of Oak Creek, that sincere gratitude and appreciation be extended to Mary E. Young for her years of professional, dedicated, and faithful service to the City of Oak Creek and the Police Department. That the best wishes for good health and happiness be extended to Mary E. Young and her family for future years. Be it further resolved that this resolution be spread upon the minutes of this meeting, and that the city clerk is hereby directed to transmit a suitable copy thereof to Mary E. Young.
Thank you, Catherine. And with us is Chief Anderson. Chief, would you like to say a few words on Mary's behalf?
Sure. And Mary might actually be on as well, but
Is she on?
but I know the proclamation may have been a little bit deceiving in some parts because Mary served about 10 and a half years full-time, but the other years of service, she served as a part-time clerk and dispatcher. She stepped in numerous roles for us when we needed assistance to move her to different areas. An ultimate team player for the organization, and she's going to be missed. She was always one of the first people welcoming our new employees, just a part of the core of the department, and you can't replace it very easily, as we find with all of our retirees. So we just wish her the best into the next phase of her life.
Great. Thank you, Chief. Does anybody have anything to say on Mary's behalf?
Mayor, may I make a comment?
Oh, please.
Mary Young assisted with National Night Out for many, many years. And this is a really long, hard, hot day. And Mary always was in best of spirits, very helpful, and really was dedicated to the cause. So I will miss her dearly.
Thank you. Is Mary with us? If she'd like to speak. No? Kevin's telling me no. Just very quickly, I stopped by PD the other night, and just to wish the officers and the dispatchers a happy holidays. I kind of do it every year. And who greeted me at the front desk was Mary, ironically, with her retiring. So as Chief said, I always say our protective services are kind of the ambassadors of our city, the first ones you see, whether they're police and fire. And typically they're seeing people at their worst, and they have to be at their best. And again, Mary had a customer in front of her. She handled a very distraught person at that particular time. And I got to watch, 20 years of service there in action, and she handled herself just great. So again, best wishes to Mary. I'm sure the chief will really miss you. You sounded like a great utility player. And again, you really filled a lot of holes for us, and you will be missed. And we appreciate all your service and wish you a long and happy retirement. So with that, motion from Mary, please.
Bill, move to approve resolution 12207-121520, resolution of appreciation to Mary E. Young, retiring police department clerk.
Guzekowski, will second.
Roll call.
Alderman Dukenyak.
Aye.
Tobin.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorick.
Aye. And under new business, item 5 is consideration of a resolution extending our public health emergency in the city of Oak Creek in response to the COVID-19 virus. We have with us Chief Kresick. So he's coming up.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Mike Kresick, tonight representing the Emergency Management Program for the City of Oak Creek. Tonight, we are requesting an extension, a resolution extending the current emergency public health declaration. As you know, this declaration is set to expire December 31, 2020. Our request this evening is an extension of that public health declaration effective January 1, 2021 through June 1st, 2021. That declaration essentially supports the ongoing efforts of the city of Oak Creek to protect its citizens and visitors during the pandemic. Certainly the intent is to address a potential surge in cases due to the holiday season, but probably most importantly, it recognizes that there's a rather large event that has already begun with vaccines and the vaccination process. So certainly this extension provides a time frame to address those events that are ahead of us at this time. Now, certainly the council has the authority to review circumstances and extend, shorten, or revoke the declaration as warranted.
Steve.
I don't have a problem extending it, but I do have a problem with going all the way out to June. I think 3 months is an appropriate time period, and then we can readdress the situation after 3 months instead of 6. The language that says in anticipation of potential surge of cases associated with the winter season and plan related to the upcoming vaccination distribution. We were warned that there was going to be a surge in cases post Thanksgiving.
and daily COVID cases were 9,000 a day prior to Thanksgiving. Since Thanksgiving, the highest rate was 4831 on December 5th, 2155 December 7th, 2122 yesterday, 3501 today. So we certainly didn't see the predicted surge post-Thanksgiving for whatever reason or excuses people are wanting to give. So I understand you got this potential surge. You could have something after Christmas, New Year's, but that's just a guess. So again, I would not support a motion to go to June 1st. I would support a motion to go to March 31st. Thank you. Anyone else? Greg, who is up? Greg? I got fingers going everywhere. Greg?
I just had a question. Does the declaration correspond to any federal funding? Would there be any effect if it weren't extended with federal funding in any way?
So, and I would defer maybe some of that answer to some of our other experts, maybe Darcy or the city administrator, to add some additional thoughts on that. Now, certainly, from my level of awareness, there is a funding that expires at the end of this year. And certainly the declarations did coincide with that funding period up until this point. Now, there hasn't been a decision on what the federal funding looks like going into 2021. So certainly we can't draw a correlation between the extension of the declaration and the hypothetical that it may or may not occur. So essentially the answer is no, it doesn't relate to that at this time.
Yeah.
Thanks, Danny. I'm thinking along the lines of Alderman Kirkowski in terms of time frame, but I want to ask you, Mike.
Yes.
Is the emergency declaration useful for inoculation plans or anything like that, or is this strictly to be sort of in the queue for potential aid or reimbursement?
No, I think when you look at a public health vaccination of this level, certainly there are some broad-based powers established by statute that in certain circumstances allow emergency actions by a community. I think really what it comes down to with this vaccination plan is the planning that's been done in advance. I would defer to Darcy a bit to see if there's a direct correlation between the declaration and the vaccination plan, but I would say that, certainly if all goes well with the vaccination plan, it's a rather smooth running operation. I think the broad-based power is provided by statute for that emergency declaration really help to handle any contingencies that might occur with that.
I see Darcy's on. Darcy, would you like to weigh in on it?
Yeah, I don't have much to add. I think what Chief Kresick said is correct at this point. We haven't been informed that it's necessary to have the declaration in place in regards to vaccination. But of course, we are just at the beginning of the vaccination period. And so it's hard to say what will happen as we go into 2021, especially with a new administration who could make different choices. So at this time, there's no correlation that we're aware of.
Thank you. Anyone else? Chris, anything?
I was just going to mention that if there's a need to extend it beyond the March deadline, we could always have a special meeting or bring it up at the March meeting or meeting the month before at the end of February if it were needed.
That is true. Mike, anything?
Yeah, well, that's the way I read the background to it. Alderman Kirkowski, I kind of agree with that. We don't need to go out to that later date, but the way this reads, and the way I'm reading it, is that you could ask it to be on the agenda in March as a request, and you could out tonight.
Correct.
Right?
Correct. So
it seems kind of an arbitrary date.
It really does, because we either have to put it on the agenda to extend at a given date, whatever we choose, or we put it out there in June and we revoke it early. Hopefully, that would be best scenario, that we don't need it. And with the inoculation plan, who knows how that's going to go. And if the feds do something different by the end of the year, early in the year, a break in service or something like that may not help us as well. It's fluid, just like they were guessing at the surges, we're guessing on what to do. So we thought it best to put it out there and then revoke it if need be. So it's open for discussion.
Well, Mayor Dan, Alderman Dukenyak, Third District, it's one of the few times that I'm not going to agree with my colleagues on the council. And I have no problem going out until June 1st of 2021. And you use the exact word that I was going to use. This pandemic has been, a very fluid situation in which to deal with. I mean, since March of this year, things change so rapidly. Steve brought up the point. Here's what we were thinking was going to happen, and just the opposite did, with the number of large number of cases we were expecting after Thanksgiving didn't happen. So what's the downside to keeping that emergency declaration in effect through June 1st? I mean, I'd prefer to have it in place just to deal with, an ever-changing pandemic. So we're ready to do things immediately rather than having to come back with a special council meeting to extend for 3 months. So I guess my question, what's the downside to having this thing in effect until June 1st? There's no financial ramifications at all. There's no manpower issues at all, no additional expense, or is it just presenting this image that, and I don't know what it is, but I just think that we provide an image that, we're in place to fight and deal with this thing, through June 1st. So my 2 cents worth.
Alderman Dukenyak, if I could may on that, I believe, and to Alderman, your initial point about the surge post-Thanksgiving, that could be better news, actually, with a drop in cases during that time frame. So we don't know what happens next. We're hoping for the best. Completely agree in that regard. That period of time through June 1st is really, to add on to that, it's an estimated time frame to try to encompass a larger scale event, and mainly a vaccine distribution. Certainly, we're not sure what it looks like for the city of Oak Creek. We don't know what the public distribution looks like or what necessarily the timeframes are. And again, the authority of the council is to review and revoke as warranted by circumstances.
Andrew?
Throw my 2 cents in there. You guys have already debated longer than we debated over this date, so that's a good thing. That's what you're here to do. But just to give you a little bit of background, we talked about something longer, something shorter. We ultimately ended up at June 1. It is rather arbitrary, as Alderman Tolman pointed out. There's nothing really tied to this right now, other than acknowledgement that we're in a state of we still have an ongoing issue. In balancing out the conversation about the June 1 date, we thought the council can always come back and revoke it sooner if that's the pleasure of the council. And on the in the same vein, we were like, well, I don't think anybody would have accused the mayor of construing this declaration, liberally and making decisions that everybody wasn't comfortable with. There really weren't, a ton of impactful measures that had to be invoked under this, even during the heart of the pandemic. So that's kind of where we ended. I would presume, if it's March 1, we just wanted to look to not have to extend. We can always react to this if the new administration comes in or the Congress acts before that new administration comes in on funding, and we have to adjust to that. We can come back no matter what date you choose. So I guess in a nutshell, I don't think the staff is emotionally attached to June 1. It's pretty much a convenience thing. If there's other ideas, that's...
And the June 1 date kind of sprung out of a discussion of some larger businesses picked June 1 to repopulate their buildings downtown. So we kind of went, well, if they're going that route, we'll go that route. So, and I don't know what neighboring municipalities are doing. They're probably similar. So, flavor of the council. Yes.
I just point out that we routinely did these roughly every 3 months. And I don't see a reason why we have to suddenly jump to 6 months. I don't want to be argumentative with Rich here, but if it's an arbitrary date, then what the hell? Let's just wait. Let's go to December 31st, 2021, make it the whole year, and then we can come back and cancel it. But I don't think we're I think we're more likely to extend it than to cancel it, but I just don't like going out 6 months. 3 months, I'm okay with. Let's wait and see how things are. I mean, we're either coming to a council meeting to extend it, or we're coming to a council meeting to cancel it. I'd rather wait 3 months and then see what it's like, my opinion.
Okay. Anyone else got a last word before we ask for a motion? Because you guys will have to deal with the motion that's crafted.
Here,
Yes.
let's just say we took it out to the end of March. One of the other aldermen recommended or suggested we need a special meeting. That wouldn't be necessary because you already have 2 meetings scheduled in March. So you automatically put it on the agenda for the second meeting in March, and then you go from there. So I support the through the end of March. That's the way I see it.
Yeah. If you'd like the motion.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Unless there's more discussion.
No, and any further discussion? Okay.
Okay, Tobin will make a motion to approve resolution 12208, approving the extension of the public health emergency declaration effective January 1st, 2021 through, does March have 31?
March 30, yeah,
31.
30.
That's 31. Sorry, that's big number. It says 31.
March 31st. Yep, March 31st.
I know.
Through the end of March. Let's just put it
Okay.
that way.
Kirkowski will second.
Roll call.
Alderman Tillman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorick.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
No.
Great. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you to the council. Thank you for that discussion.
Item 6, consideration of a resolution approving the amendment to the City of Oak Creek Marketing Magazine Services Contract for 2021. Leslie, you got this one? Looks like
I do.
you got it.
Good evening. If you will recall, at the beginning of this very long year, we brought, or the council approved a 2-year contract with Caprill Marketing and Design for the production of our Oak Creek Current magazine. Tonight, we're bringing a proposed amendment to that contract with a modest rate increase, and that would be the first one that we've actually had since the inception of the magazine in 2016. Over those years, our publisher has juggled postage increases, multiple ones, an increase in the paper and printing costs, and just an overall expansion of the magazine. I think we started out at 36 pages and we've gone up to 48, I think is probably the maximum. And it's gone back and forth in between. So to break it down, the city and the school district are the 2 largest stakeholders in the magazine. And we're being asked to increase our contribution $250 per issue or $1,000 annually. MATC, who is a minor stakeholder, has been asked to increase their contribution $100 per issue. And both the school district and MATC have already approved those increases. As always, the Current is very well received by our residents and the businesses who advertise in it. And we feel that this modest increase, with that, we can continue to publish the magazine without having to reduce the content that we've gotten used to putting into it, or having to increase the ads. And during this very difficult year, selling ads has been tricky, so the publisher does not really want to try to go after more advertising unless it's absolutely necessary. So if you have any questions about it, please let me know. Be happy to
Questions for Leslie on the Current? Ken.
Leslie, when is this proposed to actually be effective?
It would be effective beginning in 2021. So with our first issue that comes out, I think March 1st. So right away in 2021.
And what's the rationale is what its magazine's larger than she expected? I mean, she negotiated this contract 10 months ago. So
well,
what has changed in the process? So
just the fact that it's over time has cost her more to produce it, and and she hasn't asked for a rate increase since we began this.
Wouldn't that have been the point to do that last January? I mean,
at that time she didn't feel it was.
She should be a football player.
Well,
she should play football.
she wanted to hold the rates as steady as she could. I think, 2020 brought a very interesting challenge. She offered a reduction in advertising rates for our, for the businesses as a, help to them. So, she just evaluated the costs over time. And, she's had to sort of absorb those and shuffle them over the years. So she felt that now would be a time to ask for that. So.
The appropriate time when the contract renewed, the perfect line, so. Anyway, I digress.
All right, Chris?
Alderman Guzikowski, 6th District. I think one of the things that I would bring up is, I'm in the printing and trade, as you know. So this does seem like a fair ask here. But on the other side of it though, if they want to do increases and they want to do it yearly or whatnot, she could be proactive on that, I think, too. So I think this is a good thing for us. So thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Anyone else? Mike, any thoughts? Greg? Rich? Steve? Oh, sorry.
Right by me.
Sorry, I thought you waved me off.
No, deep in thought.
Go ahead, Chris.
And I mentioned this, I think earlier this year when we were discussing the contract, that this is an excellent piece of information. It's a good way of conveying information to our community about events in the city and about what's happening in our city. Certainly with the tough year that we've had, this is not only informative, but it's enjoyable reading. So I don't have an issue. I know businesses incur costs throughout a cycle or throughout a contract. And a lot of times, they've got to eat those increased costs. I don't know what Barb's margins are here, so I don't have a problem with the $1,000 increase. I think that's, as I've mentioned in the past, this is money well spent.
Sorry for cutting you off there.
No, it's
Rich.
okay.
Steve, go ahead.
Alderman Kirkowski, I like the publication. I don't know what the return on investment is, but that's irrelevant because it's a good publication for the city. I don't have a problem with the increase, but Leslie, just let her know that, we have cost overruns on projects all the time, and she shouldn't feel like she has to try and bite the bullet and then come to us with issues. If there's issues, have her come to us right away. That way we don't get hit with something. I mean, it isn't a big increase, but, just tell her everything's okay. You know what I mean? All right. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I do have a contract. Oh, if we're gonna sign a contract, you hold the terms. I mean,
Yeah, we have a contract, but sometimes with
it's not the way it works.
road projects, they have a
I
contract.
don't want to be a pain in the ass on this because it's more money.
$1,000.
But it's a contract. I mean, it isn't a rolling, payment up to. It is what it is. I'm just out of principle, but I'm not gonna fight over $1,000.
Again, given the COVID, maybe the fall off of advertisers, hard to say. As like Chris said, maybe printing costs went up. Don't know. I prefer it.
I still think it's a value.
I like it. I don't mind it either.
So-
It's about it.
Okay, guys. Motion one way or the other.
Dukenyak move to approve resolution number 12211-121520, approving the amendment to the City of Oak Creek Marketing Magazine Services Contract for 2021.
Guzikowski will second.
Roll call.
Alderman Gale.
No.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
And 7, concerns engineering and its consideration of a resolution accepting the dedication of public improvements and release from the development agreement for the Oakview Business Park, CSM project in the 5th District. Mike, how are you?
Very good, Mayor. Thank you. So the city entered into a development agreement with Wisp Park as the property at 102 West Oakview Lane Parkway in Oakview Business Park was to be developed, and it has been. That's that large warehousing logistics facility that has been open, and in that development, they needed to construct some public infrastructure. And I'm sharing my screen. Hopefully everybody's seeing that. It is the cul-de-sac that leads to the parking lot and the truck entrance to that facility. And so basically the public infrastructure that they constructed and we inspected and are recommending for acceptance and approval is the cul-de-sac pavement itself, the curb and gutter, the sidewalks. There was a little bit of storm sewer and some street lighting extended into the project, and it's all acceptable from engineering standpoint. And so the recommendation is that the city accept that and release Wisp Park from this development agreement.
Questions for Mike? Anybody? Nothing? I think it's pretty straightforward. So, seeing no questions, motion.
Bill move to approve resolution 12206-121520, accepting dedication of the public improvements and release from development agreement for the Oakview Business Park CSM project.
Kukowski will second.
Roll call.
Alderman Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
And 8 is concerning water and sewer utility, and it's consideration of a resolution establishing a special assessment for rates for underground utility improvements. And looks like we have Brian from the Water Department with us. Hi, Brian. How are you?
Good. How's everybody doing this evening?
Good.
We are here to talk about the special assessment rates. These rates have not been adjusted since 2007. And the new rates are just for sanitary and water projects. The old resolution also included street construction, but we have not used linear footage special assessment rates in the past several years for road work. So this is just limiting it to water and sanitary and creating the new rates. These rates are based off industry standards designed by CostWorks, which is a design estimating booklet. So any questions on this?
Questions for Brian? Ken?
Hey, Brian, can you tell us, give us a just ballpark where these were or where they are currently?
Yes.
Do you have that in front?
So single family rates for a sanitary, that's considering an 8-inch sanitary main, that went from $94 to $128. And for single family water, again, that's 8-inch water main, that went from $47 to $93. So that one was a significant jump.
And that's per linear foot, right, Brian?
Correct. On a side note of that, the average for like the last 4 years of our 8-inch water main projects has been $120. But we haven't had, I would consider, normal projects in the past few years. So those numbers, I think, are a little skewed as well.
Is this something that it's 2007 was the last time we did this? Is that something we should be revisiting, more often? I don't know.
Definitely, I feel we should visit this more often. It's not something that happens all the time. We do.
Okay.
The utility does a lot more special assessment projects than what the city does, but it's not a yearly thing by any means.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, these are relatively uncommon.
Okay. All right. Then thank you. That
Yeah.
answers my question.
So if someone would petition the water utility to add water or sewer service, or, we decided the water utility decided to lay main in a neighborhood which currently is not served, that's where this kind of stuff will come into play, so.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions for Brian? Seeing none, motion.
Bill move to approve resolution 12205-121520, establishing special assessment rates for underground utility improvements.
Kukowski will second.
Roll call.
Alderman Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Item 9 is the License Committee. I'd like to turn that over to Alderman Kirkowski.
Thank you, Mayor.
another long and exhaustive, report here. Does anybody, trust everybody's gotten it? And, does anybody have any cares, concerns, questions about the 3 individuals for the operator's license? All right, seeing none, Kirkowski will make a motion to grant the various license requests as listed on the December 15, 2020 License Committee report.
Dukenyak, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
And item 10 is consideration of a motion to approve the December 9th vendor summary report. So if everybody please take a look, and if you do have questions, direct them at the appropriate person, either on screen or in person.
Andrew, on what's listed on item number 5, is that Edgewater? Is that the right word? Is that Edgewood? Edgewaters?
No, yep,
All right,
Edgewater. Edgewater is one of 2 of our consultants looking
Okay.
at the Northwest for us.
Okay, cool.
Edgerton, I think, is more notable, but Edgewater Resources is in the mix too.
Very cool.
Alderman Tillman, item number 4.
I was gonna ask.
How's it going down?
Yes, I can answer that. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, they are fairly well wrapped up out there. So they got going about 8 weeks ago, and probably were out there for about 6 weeks, and worked very efficiently and did a nice job. So this is a large payment. It is, I would probably, I don't have the full amount of the contract. It was a little over $400,000. So I would say that we're probably paying for 3/4 of it with this one payment. We have some retainage that we'll get one good thorough look at the site, see if there's any punch list items, and if everything is good, then we would probably be looking to make that final payment at the meeting in January. So, and just a reminder, this was the work that was the preparatory work for the all that free soil that's going to be hauled onto the site and used as the clean soil capping next summer.
At the road, Mike, basically?
Yes, that is part of it. Correct.
Anything else on the vendor summary? Seeing none, motion.
Gail moves to approve the December 9, 2020 vendor summary report in the total amount of $688,937.47.
Guzekowski, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Dukenyak.
Aye.
Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye. And item 11, it is consideration of a resolution authorizing the payments of bills, debts, and obligations. And keep in mind, we waived the first meeting in January. This allows the finance department to pay all debts and cut checks as needed, so the city is not in violation. So, questions?
Thanks for a reminder.
Yeah.
I thought I'd just cut to it. And again, this will get us through, and then we will review that vendor summary at the first meeting on the 19th, just to be clear. But it does allow them to not violate state law or statute. Any questions? Seeing none, motion.
Gail would move to approve resolution 12209121520, authorizing payment of bills, debts, and obligations.
Guzekowski, second.
Roll call.
Alderman Toman.
Aye.
Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak.
Aye.
And item 12 is to consider a motion to convene into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute, Section 19.85, Sub 1, Sub E, to discuss the following: a proposed tax increment District Number 8 Finance Development Agreement between the City of Oak Creek and STC Oak Creek WI LLC for the property at 101 and 111 West Oakview Parkway, and B, a proposed Second Amendment to the Development Agreement between the City of Oak Creek and Stella and Chewy's LLC for the property at 111 West Oakview Parkway. President Gale?
Thank you, Mayor. Gail moves to convene in a closed session pursuant to Wisconsin State Statute, Section 19.5, Sub 1, Sub E, to discuss the following. A proposed tax incremental District Number 8 Finance Development Agreement between the City of Oak Creek and STC Oak Creek LLC for the property at 101 and 111 West Oakview Parkway, and B, the proposed Second Amendment to Development Agreement between the City of Oak Creek and Stella and Chewy's LLC for the property at 111 West Oakview Parkway.
Buzzkill second.
Roll call?
Alderman Gale.
Aye.
Guzekowski.
Aye.
Kirkowski.
Aye.
Lorik.
Aye.
Dukenyak. Toman.
We will now convene into closed session.